a check on the excesses of other branches of government, especially when Congress and our executive overreach and run afoul of our constitutional and institutional safeguards, as they are doing now. I'm proud I've appointed judges doing their best to be independent, fair, and impartial, respecting the rule of law and upholding the Constitution. I wish I could say the same for the executive branch, who seems doing his best to dismantle the Constitution. Oh, I'm being deadly earnest, man. Which seems to be what's going on. You know, and they're doing it all too often with the help of a Congress that's just sitting in the sidelines and enabled by the highest court in the nation. The rulings they've made, my God. Folks, in our lives, the life of our nation, there are moments so stark that they divide all that came before from everything that followed. Moments that force us to confront hard truths about ourselves, our institutions, and democracy itself. We see in the law firms bowing to pressure, bending to bullies, instead of staying rooted in justice and the law, including some of the largest newspapers in America. We see the apparent glee some of our politicians express while watching immigrants who are in this country legally, torn from the arms of their family, dragged away in handcuffs from the only home they've ever known. My friends, we need to face the hard truth of this administration. It has been to ease all the gains we've made in my administration, to erase history rather than make it, to erase fairness, equality, to erase justice itself. And that's not how—
Man, President Joe Biden just pulled off one hell of a political ambush, and Trump didn't even see it coming. It was a quiet Tuesday morning. No big press alerts, no loud Twitter teasers, just a surprise White House address. But once Biden stepped to that podium, he came in swinging, and not with soft jabs, but with heavyweight punches right at Donald Trump's record. With a calm fire in his voice and zero hesitation, Biden called out Trump's failures, from January 6th to economic hypocrisy to foreign policy blunders. And here's the kicker. He did it without ever yelling, without ever looking rattled. Just pure presidential confidence. "You can't lead a nation when you're busy dividing it," he said, eyes locked on the camera like he was talking straight through it. "And you sure as hell can't fix a broken system when you're the one who broke it." It wasn't just a speech, it was a political beatdown dressed as a press briefing. Then Biden hit the gas even harder. He dragged Trump over the coals for cozying up to dictators while throwing allies under the bus, saying, "America was never meant to be a one-man show. We're a democracy, not a Trump production." The crowd didn't just clap, they erupted. And Biden didn't stop. He brought receipts, pointed out how under Trump, job growth tanked while billionaires got richer. Compared that to the Bidenomics rebound, millions of new jobs, inflation down, wages up. "You talked a big game about bringing jobs home," Biden said, "but all you brought were tax cuts for the top and chaos for the rest." He called Trump's economic policy a con job dressed in red hats. And man, the reaction online was instant. Twitter, TikTok, even cable news lit up with one phrase on repeat: Biden just bodied Trump. But here's what really made jaws drop. Biden didn't just stop at the past. He laid out his 2025 vision and directly dared Trump to present one of his own. "If all you've got are lies, revenge, and reruns of 2020, Biden said, "then step aside. America's not going backward." It was like watching an old-school showdown, the elder statesman versus the showman, except this time the statesman had the sharper edge. And let's be real, nobody expected Biden, who's often painted by critics as too slow or too safe, to come out this hot. But he did. And it wasn't just the message, it was the delivery. Measured, punchy, presidential. He even cracked a line that had the whole room laughing. "Some folks say I'm too old. Maybe, but I've seen enough to know a fraud when I see one." By the end, Biden had completely flipped the narrative. No teleprompter stumbles, no sleepy moments, just a man on fire, determined to shut down the chaos Trump left behind and draw a bold, clear line between vision and vengeance. He reminded America of the stakes in 2025. Not just red versus blue, but democracy versus delusion. This isn't a reality show, he said. It's our reality, and we either lead it together or lose it divided. That line is already going viral. Political analysts are calling it one of the strongest speeches of Biden's presidency. Trump's camp has been dead silent, and that silence speaks volumes. Because when Biden finished, there wasn't much left for Trump to say. The mic wasn't dropped, it was slammed. So now the ball's in Trump's court. But let's be honest, after that speech, it looks like Biden just reclaimed the fight. Not with chaos, not with name-calling, but with facts, fire, and a fierce defense of democracy. Whatever your politics are, you gotta admit, that was a masterclass in owning the moment. And if Trump thought 2025 was going to be a rematch cakewalk, well, he just got a wake-up call straight from the White House.